Hey movie lovers, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning into this review. I'm here to talk about Miller's Girl, which is a 2024 movie directed by Jade Bartlett in a feature directorial debut. This has an impressive cast of Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman, two big names bringing their caliber to an indie production movie. However, what could really go wrong with that star power? I'll tell you what can go wrong. Casting them in Miller's Girl. Before going into Miller's Girl, I only saw one review for this movie, and that's by my friend Ryan at RavenOzFan89, where he was not a huge fan of Miller's Girl at all. So going into it, I try to keep an open mind because I believe every movie should just be judged on your own accord and without kind of, a hype or disappointment. As I mentioned, with a huge caliber of talent on array, I was really intrigued to see what the end product would be. If you're not too familiar on what the plot of Miller's Girl is all around, it focuses on merely two characters, and that is Martin Freeman as Jonathan Miller, who is this teacher, and he's wrote a book, and he gets a brand new student called Cairo, who is played by Jenna Ortega. And after a kind of creative assignment kind of comes around, them two form a complicated relationship. So straight away, kind of to address the elephant in the room, it's definitely going to irk some people. And I will be honest, it kind of irked me a little bit as well, because in reality, Martin Freeman and Jenna Ortega have a huge age gap, and of course are in different stages of their kind of working careers, right? Jenna Ortega is like massively hot property at the moment in Hollywood. By all means, she's a great actress. Martin Freeman is also a really good actor, but of course he is older, so he's been around the block a little bit now in this scene of acting. So with that caliber at present and at hand, I was kind of intrigued, how does an indie budget attract like such big names to their production, right? Now, Jade Bartlett, as I mentioned, this is her feature directorial debut, so I've never seen any of her previous works, if she's done shorts and anything like that. I've never seen that, so this is my first introduction to her, and this is the only kind of work I can judge as of now. It is to my dismay and shame to say to you guys that after watching Miller's Girl, I wasn't a fan of this one. I also think that Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman were pretty wasted in this kind of movie. When I finished this, which is around 94 minutes long, I felt this to be kind of pretentious, boring, a waste of talent, and it also feels kind of like an incomplete or a very rough script. But before I kind of go into the negatives, I'll quickly dive into some positives here, because there's definitely some positives to take away. The biggest one I can compliment is the cinematography by Daniel Brothers. I don't know any of Daniel's work previous to this, but the cinematography was absolutely stunning. Whether it's the kind of stunning architecture or landscape that's presented, the tracking or the wide shots that we have of our characters maybe walking into focus or even walking out of focus, it is so beautifully done. That is one thing that kind of kept my eyes glued to the screen, to just see the kind of vibrancy of the colours, or how some of the scenes start to get a little bit darker as the movie's tones started to embrace that darker tone. The cinematography matched it, and I also think it was done well, and easily is the best aspect of Miller's Girl. I also got to give praise to the performances of our big names, Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman. Of their caliber, they have done massive and impressive works in their careers. Miller's Girl is not one of those, but with the script that they're given, you can tell that they're clearly embracing that script and trying to push the material to that next level beyond the what is on paper. I feel like they do their best. I feel because of this weird relationship, they try to have this kind of erotic thriller, sexual kind of tension, and have that kind of chemistry, but it ultimately doesn't work, which I don't think is the fault of them. I think it comes down to the fault of the script. Going into my negatives, the script, which I do believe that Jade Bartlett was previously kind of working on Broadway, kind of wrote this and had some experience before getting this made into a full-length feature. I feel as if this script could have done with a couple of kind of workovers, looking at maybe some tweaks here and there to make this an exciting production where it leaves you with questions, where as the audience it makes you want to revisit the movie to maybe catch on, you know, points X, Y, and Z. So you can be like, oh, right, that clicks into place. Yeah, I get this, I get that. That now all makes sense. And it's the case where it's riveting to the point where you want to revisit it. But unfortunately, I did not get that feeling after finishing this. In fact, I kind of felt like it was pretentious. I felt it was kind of spoon-fed to me anyway. And I also feel as if the pacing was not great. I appreciate this is a slower movie. I can also appreciate the fact it's more of kind of like a story kind of character driven based focus, which is fine. There's plenty of movies that's done that, and with other movies that's been made where it is about kind of, you know, weird relationships or like age gaps, for example. We've seen movies like that done better, and this one doesn't really feel like it adds anything to the genre whatsoever, and it's a huge shame. And by the end of it, the worst thing a movie can do, which I know my peer Anthony Perez will say the same thing, is bore you to a point where you just don't really care. The ending also wasn't great. So I'm going to give a score for Miller's Girl. I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5 stars. And that is maybe me being a little bit more kind than maybe I should be, but it is director's first work, so I kind of want to cut a little bit slack. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. If you have, certainly give it a thumbs up. Click the red subscribe button, which is free, down below, to check out more movie reviews, more content, and all that kind of good stuff. Do want to say a quick thank you to all my awesome Patreons who help support the channel. If you want to join, link down below in the description box. Memberships from only £2 per month. But also, click over here, dive into a bit of a rabbit hole of other content I have on the channel. But if not, thank you guys for watching, and until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.